Hello, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Frisk. I'm here with Beauty Queen Galore today, the pageant resource. And of course, we have another very special guest. She is our former Miss Rhode Earth USA, Mikala Joy, who is also a model, an activist, and a artist. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Mikala.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to just really jump into it for today. It's been a couple weeks, so
Yeah.
I'm just missing this. Getting started. Who are you outside of the crown?
So outside of the crown, I'm actually a middle school art teacher. I recently graduated with my master's in art education, and now I'm going into my third year of teaching and my second year at middle school, which is grades sixth, seventh, and eighth. It's a tough grade, but I feel like art makes it a little bit more fun.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. It actually felt just like yesterday where I was in middle school. All the power to you because I know sometimes kids can be very, very cruel at that time.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite thing when it comes to teaching art?
I kind of like giving them choice. Like I don't really give lessons in my classroom. I have centers set up so they could go to like the drawing center or painting center, or if they want to do like some type of 3D construction. But I like kind of seeing what they want to do rather than forcing them to do something that they don't want to do.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is there like a art medium that you like working with the most, or?
I mostly paint. I like outside of teaching, I also do a lot of like commissioned art, like painting shoes or jean jackets for weddings and stuff like that. So I like painting. I've done a few murals at different schools around the state, and that's kind of where I focus on. But if my students don't want to paint, totally up to them. Like they don't have to, but I'd like everyone to try everything here and there.
Now I'm pretty much hopeless whenever it comes to doing art. Unfortunately, do you have any advice for people like me who want to pick up a medium like painting? Because I've especially been interested in painting on wardrobe. It's been something I've seen recently that's super cool and catches my attention, but I have no idea where to start.
So I mean, I feel like people think all the time like being creative or being artistic is something you're born with, and it's totally not. You can definitely learn. I feel like probably videos, or you could even take like certain classes. But honestly, just practicing, even like by yourself, not really knowing what you're doing, and kind of just working with the paint or working with the materials, and you'll figure out something eventually, and it's just gonna get better from there.
So I just have to play around with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'll do that eventually, probably, hopefully. Can you tell us more about your platform?
So my platform was Arts for a Change, and that kind of just focused on using art to promote change in my community, whether that was environmental change through recycled materials, or doing like recycled projects or projects about recycling, and then even to public art forms like murals in my town that are either about recycling or about environmental awareness and things like that. And I just kind of like bringing my students into it and bringing the pageant community into it and just expanding it as far as I can.
Now, I would love to know, as a teacher and a pageant title holder,
Yeah.
how do you balance really the two?
I feel like it was kind of a tough balance, especially prepping for nationals and stuff like that. But just like with my platform, how it has to do with art and it has to do with the environment, which the Miss Earth USA system is really focused in on. I feel like having those two things in my daily life were made it a little bit easier, and I could work on my platform in the classroom as well and teach my students about it.
All right. So something that's already pretty much kind of incorporated to your daily life. I just couldn't imagine. I know that teachers, they work so hard and have very little free time as is, and yet pageantry is so demanding in that area. Wonderful.
Mhm.
I would have to ask as well, why the Miss Earth USA system?
So I've competed in a few other systems here and there. I took a break from pageantry when I was undergrad, getting my degree in art, and then they actually reached out to me. I think in 2020, like right after COVID happened, and they were trying to get state pageants going again, and asked if I would be interested in Rhode Island. And I felt like just their whole mission as an organization just like really fit what I was already doing in my own life by like recycling and being environmentally cautious and doing cleanups and stuff like that. And it just really intertwined with how my life was already going. So I just felt like it was a really good fit for me.
Wonderful. And when it comes to competing Miss Earth USA, what areas are you judged on exactly? What would be some of your favorite areas when it comes to
So,
competition?
like most pageants, I feel like we have interview, we have swimwear, and we have evening gown. But we all are also required to do a Think Global, Act Local project. And that is for our partner nonprofit organization, Beauties for a Cause. So this year, my project was I had a recycled fashion show, and I handmade about like 30 different pieces using recycled water bottles and newspapers and stuff like that. And then actually held a show in my hometown, and all the ticket proceeds ended up going towards the organization.
Wonderful. And is this a system that people can go back and compete again in the future if they like? Is that something that, given the opportunity, you would do yourself?
So they have a teen, a miss, and a Mrs. USA Earth organization. So there's definitely in the future, maybe I'll go back. I know that I'm aged out of it now. I believe they allow you to go back for 1 year. If you compete 1 year, you can go back the following year. But I think that's it. You can only compete 2 years in a row.
Oh, okay, so there's
Um,
definitely a lot of pressure to
yes.
get.
And now that I'm aged out of that division completely, pressure's off.
Absolutely. So the Miss winner would go to Miss Earth, the
Yes.
international. Do you
Yes.
know where the teen and the Ms. or Mrs. winners would go if there's a further
I
competition?
don't know if Teen Earth or Mrs. Earth advances. I think that they just have those titles and they don't go to like an international level.
Cool. I do see a
Yeah.
little bit of what the Miss Earth USA title holders do, so I think it's just very interesting regardless. How they still feel so much opportunity. Of course, some people have different personal goals, so going to Miss Earth is
Yeah,
the end goal, which is really great. But it looks like they provide so many opportunities otherwise.
they really do. And just like the connections I made by doing the pageant, I've been able to walk in New York Fashion Week, and I walked in Miami Swim Week for the last 2 years with Vizcaya Swimwear, who is also their swimwear sponsor. And just like the friendships and the opportunities I've had from it make it totally worth it.
It's a dream of mine to walk in Miami Swim Week, so I'm a little jealous that you've had that opportunity.
I'll come next year, girl. We'll be there.
I have to, look into that a little bit more. Now,
Yeah.
what does interview prep look like for you for Miss Earth USA?
So since I started doing pageants in 2018, I have worked with Erica from Pageant Prep,
Mhm.
and we will do like mock interviews. She will give me like a list of possible interview questions that I can kind of run through on my own to kind of just like prep myself and like get some idea of what I would want to say. But I feel like just going in, not really thinking about it too hard is the best advice I can give anyone going into an interview, because you don't want to be shaking, you don't want to be tense. You just want to be yourself, and the judges will be able to see that.
Oh yeah. And I feel like that's some of the best advice that people can give, which I consistently ignore. I get so stressed before entering the interview all the time. Get in my head, I am shaking everything. But then
Yeah.
go in, you be yourself, you answer from the heart, and everything's fine.
Mhm. And they're always so quick too. So like you're in, you're out. You don't even. It's like you almost black out when you go in, and you're like, "What did I even say? I don't know." But now it's over.
That's my favorite.
So I feel like. Sorry,
When,
what?
uh, that's my favorite question. After post interview, anytime I talk to my coach or just other sister queens, they ask, "What did they ask you?" No idea. Blacked out.
Nope, not a clue. That's so funny.
Any tea when it comes to interview? What are some of the questions that you are asked when it comes to Miss Earth USA?
So we're usually asked like how we reduce our carbon footprint, what we do in our communities to promote environmental awareness, what we would do with the title as Miss Earth USA, just kind of all questions that would give them a little like gauge into like who we are as a person and what we would ultimately do with the title.
Cool. So pretty, sweet, simple, straight to the point. How do you help the
Yeah,
organization?
there's no, at least for Miss Earth USA, I've never gotten any like outlandish questions that I was like at a loss for words. They're all pretty like straight to the point and like either about the organization itself, about me and like what I'm doing with my life, or about my platform.
Right, wonderful. And what's a skill that you think is particularly important for title holders to have with the Miss Earth USA system?
I think they definitely need to be confident in themselves and confident in their own abilities. Like, don't second guess yourself, even if like you think it's tough or you're nervous or anything. Just like go into it full heartedly, and I feel like that's the best advice that I could give.
Confidence is key. What was something that you wish you knew before you're entering or before you entered Miss Earth USA that you know now, of course?
Um, that's a tough one. Um, I wish that I knew that a spray tan doesn't last a whole week,
Oh yeah.
and I needed to get a redo spray tan because nationals is a whole week. So we go from Monday and we're competing all the way to the following Sunday,
Mhm.
and it will not last. So bring backup or have plans accordingly, because I had to get someone in Florida to actually touch up my spray tan and do it over again before finals. So that so I guess something that I didn't know is how long it was going into it when I first joined and got the Rhode Island title. And then I found out that I was going to be there for like 8 or 9 days, which was awesome. And I don't regret it at all. And it was a really good opportunity to get to know the girls and kind of just like all hang out without like the competitive side of us coming out for a week and then going to competition. So we got to know each other a little bit more and kind of build more of a friendship beforehand.
I gotta say, the spray tan thing is a harsh reality, a really rude awakening for me personally, because I've never experienced a spray tan until I did my first pageant. And just a couple of weeks ago, I've had the worst patches because I didn't exfoliate right. There's very specific skincare you have to do before spray tanning as well, which I was not prepared for. So no, that is a harsh reality. That it does not last you a full week, but it will still take a week or two for it to fully come off. On top of that,
Yeah.
very fun. Not really. What's an area of competition that you think that you can improve on, and what do you think is your strongest area?
Hmm. So I think that maybe my strongest area would be evening gown. I feel like I've worked on that the most over the years. I worked with Ania Garcia. She was a former, I don't want to get this wrong, Miss US. Hold on. She was, oh, Miss Grand International. She was Miss Dominican Republic Grand, and then she went to Miss Grand International and won that. But she
Oh,
was also in
wow.
my first pageant ever. She won Miss Rhode Island and ended up being second runner up at Miss USA. So I met her when I was 18 and have worked with her since she started coaching. And I feel like she really helped me improve my walk and poses. But with that being said, I feel like I could improve in swim just because I feel like I still feel like weird sometimes in like a bathing suit on stage, which is just like I'm not like self-conscious in my own body, but it's still like a lot because you're like half naked on stage in front of a whole crowd of people. But it's a rush and I still enjoy it, but it's still something that kind of like I get nerves before I go on stage.
I agree with you whenever it comes to being on swimsuit. Like, I don't have problems being in a swimsuit, but then you put in the factor that you're in heels for
Yeah.
one, walking on a stage in front of God knows how many people. There's just a little extra pressure in that instance, but it's still so fun and liberating at the same time.
Exactly. That is exactly the feeling.
So how did your pageant journey first start? It was at Miss USA.
Nope. So my first pageant I ever competed in was when I was 18, right out of high school. I competed for Miss Rhode Island USA, and I did not place in anything, but it was like a really fun experience. There was a lot of older girls there who had been competing for years, and then I competed again the next year at the same pageant. I took a few years off, and then I did Florida USA when I graduated with my undergrad in 2017. Still did not place there. And then at Miss Earth USA, I made top 20. And it was my first time competing at a national pageant, which was very cool. And since then, this past spring, so in May, I believe it was the last weekend of May, I competed for Miss Rhode Island USA again. So I kind of came full circle now, turning 28, like 10 years later from the first time I competed. And I made top 14 this year. So I was like, all this work over the last 10 years is finally paying off to some extent.
What do you say your end goal was with pageantry? What was really the experience you gained from it?
I feel like when I first started, I wasn't really comfortable with my weight. Like I wanted to lose weight a little bit. So I did go into it thinking that that would be like an avenue of like I would get like a personal trainer and I would have something that I am like holding myself accountable to get in shape for. But then I ended up coming back so many times just because of the relationships I made, the experience as a whole, and some of my best friends I've met through pageantry. And it's just crazy to think that if I didn't do pageantry, I would have never met them.
Wonderful. I feel like that's one of the like coolest things when it comes to pageantry as well. You just meet people from all corners depending on what system you're in. So it can be someone from California and you're in Rhode Island, or someone from South Africa and you're living in Oklahoma. It's the craziest thing, and I absolutely love this
Yes.
with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love that's like my favorite part about it though, because now I have friends in almost every single state that I can go and visit and stay with. And I've been to like 16 states in the past year, just like visiting friends that I've met through pageantry.
Now, how many states do you have left to visit? All 50 states in the US.
Ooh, all together, I think that I only have like the islands to go to now,
Oh,
or like the non-attached. So I have not been to Alaska and I have not been to Hawaii. So I need
wow.
to, yep.
All right,
But
cool.
and I haven't been to Washington. I need to go to Washington. That's on my list.
All right, so 3 spots. That is definitely way, way more than what I have done so far. So, what's probably been your favorite place that you've visited so far?
Probably San Diego. I went to San Diego last summer and I loved La Jolla. And if it wasn't so expensive to move there, I'd probably already be there by now. But it was really great.
I don't blame you. I fell in love with California my first visit a couple years ago, and then I realized the cost of living and thought maybe this is better as a you
But
know.
yep, never mind.
Now, something I don't think people have talked about enough is really that feeling of not winning that pageant that you've been preparing so hard for. Been there. It's not a fun feeling. What was something in
Yeah.
your mind when we didn't achieve the main title of Miss Earth USA or Miss Rhode Island USA, for example? And what were some of the first steps that you took afterwards?
I feel like in the last couple pageants I've competed in, it went from like not placing to making top 20 to making top 14. So there was never really a place where I like was like feeling like sorry for myself because there was always like some sense of improvement that I was doing over the couple years that I was competing. But it is a bummer. Um, I feel like what makes it better is knowing that the person who won actually like deserves it and will do a great job with the title. And I can say that for both of the pageants that I competed in this year. It was like the girls who won, Danielle for Miss Earth USA and Mary for Miss Rhode Island USA. They just totally deserve it, and they're just such nice girls. And I'm definitely happy for both of them.
Great. Now, what are you gonna say is the best trait about yourself?
I think my best trait is my creativity.
Your
I think that
creativity.
I have a different way of thinking and can kind of either get a different like look together or a different outcome in scenarios that I need to figure something out and just like outside of the box thinking.
So of course, it goes beyond your work as a art teacher, as an artist, but really just in general, creativity can be
Mhm.
applied so many ways. I love that.
Yes.
Now, I need to know if you're stranded on an island, hypothetically, hopefully that never happens, of course. What are 3 essential items you have to be stranded with?
Yeah, this is tough. I feel like I've been asked this one before and I always struggle with this because I should have come with an answer for this one. Um, I would take, I don't know. Now I'm like thinking too hard about it. Because I was gonna say like a book, but I would be done a book so quick, so that'd be so boring. Maybe like some type of book where I could like learn a different language, like a English Spanish dictionary or something, so I could keep my mind busy and not think about the fact that I'm on a stranded island. Um, Probably a bathing suit so I can get a tan while I'm on this island,
I mean, maybe
and
right.
clean drinking water. Is that a fair answer?
I think that's
So
more
I
than
don't dehydrate.
I think that's more than fair, and it's always one of my favorite questions to hear. I'm not sure about being asked myself because, like you said, like you just think so hard about it. But I think it's just fun to get a fun way to get a little bit of insight on what we kind of think is important whenever we're on an island, of course. A swimsuit, that is one that I wholeheartedly agree on.
Yes, I'm gonna get a tan if I'm stranded.
Yeah, may as well. Come out looking like a golden goddess.
I got nothing better to do on this island.
Other than learn a language, of course.
Yes.
You're really making the most of your time there. You are a lot more productive than me, of course.
Yeah, I probably should bring some type of way to get rescued, but that's okay. They'll find me.
They'll get to you eventually.
Yes.
It's gonna be like a whole like self-development journey first. Now, how would you say that your friends would describe you?
Um, outgoing, loud. Um, I don't know, personable. I feel like I kind of there's no one I really could be like, oh, I really like don't get along with that person. I feel like there's always like some type of like avenue where I could click with different types of people, whether it's pageantry or art related or teacher related or just in general.
Now, I'm wondering, how do you feel if in any way pageantries kind of help your career as a teacher and connecting with your students?
I think it definitely helped me in the realm of public speaking because I know that even though they're kids and like they don't really care what I'm saying, I remember vividly my first day going into middle school and like almost being like nervous to like introduce myself and talk to them because it's just like 28 kids staring at you. But like I was like, I'm the teacher. Like I can spit these words out. Like I'm good. I can talk. And I feel like pageantry has definitely helped me that like with that too, talking on stage and talking in interview and stuff like this has just really helped me learn how to talk in front of people.
There's definitely nothing more intimidating to me than actually, if there's any group that I have to go in front of, speaking in front of a group of kids.
They're gonna say exactly how they feel.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm never personally prepared for it because they do not hold back, unfiltered,
Oh
complete.
yeah.
Which honesty is key, but
Mhm.
I'm doing my public speaking.
That's so funny.
Okay, all right. Where do you see yourself just 5 years from now in general?
So 5 years from now, I see myself hopefully still with my teaching career going. But I don't know if I already mentioned this yet or not, but after this year competing at Miss Earth USA, since I am aged out, the national director, Laura, asked me to actually come back and join the executive team. So I will be the treasurer for the nonprofit, and we'll still be going down to Miss Earth USA at the end of December this year, but working it this time instead of competing in it. So that'll be a different side of the pageantry that I haven't really seen yet. But I'm excited to still be a part of the organization.
I think that is so neat. I want to have that more for that firsthand experience myself when it comes to helping run a pageant. It is a little personal goal to maybe have my own one day and
Yeah, that'd be
run.
awesome.
Oh, so if you have, post December, post the Miss Earth USA Nationals again, I would love to hear about your experience working just directly with the organization. You say you're going to be back as a treasurer now. What does
Treasurer for the nonprofit and then the executive team for Miss Earth USA. So the nonprofit is Beauties for a Cause, the one that we do that Think Global Act Local projects for.
so? What are some of your responsibilities when it comes to that role?
So I'm gonna have to see like all of our partners and recruit partner organizations, like different companies who want to either have advertisement or work with our organization. I will also be responsible for ensuring that the girls do their Think Global Act Local projects this year and like monitoring that and helping girls out with anything they need on that like regard. And then when we go down to Florida in December, we'll all be going to Cocoa Beach one day for a cleanup, which I'll also be helping out on.
Is that part of the Think Local, Act Local projects that you do? What are some projects that consists of?
So a lot of girls in the past have done cleanups in their community where they like host a cleanup and have everyone come. My first year with Miss Earth USA, I painted a mural in an elementary school in my hometown about recycling. And then I did the trash and show, which was the recycled materials that they wore. Some people will do stuff about like sustainable shopping and like partner with different like thrift stores in their towns. there's a lot of different ways that girls have taken it, which is really cool because everyone kind of has a different outlook on how they want to go about the project.
Absolutely. Now, another important question here. As a pageant resource such as ourselves, I love to hear your perspective as a title holder on what you like to see more of from the pageant community.
I just want to see like genuine girls coming in. I feel like a lot of people think that pageantry is so petty and that all the girls are really catty backstage. And that has really never been my experience. I've had really great groups of girls. And so I just hope that that continues in the future and that the, like, I want to say like hypothetical, but I'm sure it exists somewhere because there are pageants that are catty and do have girls who are mean. But I just hope that that kind of fades out and like the stereotype can be dropped from pageantry.
Absolutely. And that's, something that I'm sure many girls such as myself have experienced. I've definitely faced both sides of that coin where there was a pageant that was a lot more catty and the genuine, just kind, sisterly behavior wasn't encouraged. And
Mhm.
now that I'm with, that's all what it's about, which made me fall in love with it so easily and
Mhm.
really proved me wrong from what I initially thought what pageantry was. So
Yeah.
I love to see more people being able to experience that sisterhood firsthand and understand that it's not just a bunch of cattiness and beautiful evening gowns.
Yeah. There's actually people in them and they're actually have personalities. So,
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
yeah, crazy.
Now, speaking of evening gowns, I did get a peek at the evening gown you wore for Miss Earth USA. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with that gown and working with the designer that you worked with?
Yes. So I actually, that was my first ever custom gown. Miss Earth USA 2021, Marissa Butler, gave me his contact for Horatio Couture. He's based out of Brazil, and he's actually the sponsored gown designer for Miss Grand Brazil. So he
Mm.
does all of their gowns and everything like that. But he hand beaded the entire gown. We like created the look together, and he drew it all out. And I would send him pictures of like different bead shapes I liked and different colors and different styles. And he put them all together to make honestly the most beautiful piece of clothing I have in my closet. I want to wear it all the time, even though it's like 75 pounds on me, all the beading. But it is my favorite gown that I've ever worn and will ever wear on stage. And custom is expensive, but it's the way to go, in my opinion, just because it fits you to a T. Like he has all of your measurements, and it just made everything so much easier. I didn't have to go get fittings or get anything taken in or taken out. It was just like made for me.
How long was that process to get this gown custom made, custom designed, everything from
We
start?
started talking last summer about like early to mid July. And then I had the gown by like the last week of, or second to last week of December, like right before Christmas, I got the gown. So I
Mm.
got to try it on and like walk a few times in it before actually bringing it to Florida for nationals the first week of January.
And that was like for a fully beaded gown on top of that. I think that's really great turnaround time for a custom gown.
Yeah, it was insane how quickly he did it. Like I didn't think that he was, when I asked him originally, I was like, I don't know if it's too late. Like I know that it's in like 6 months. And he's like, oh yeah, like, no, that's great.
Like perfect.
Yep. I was like, oh, okay.
Dude,
But
give me.
that is definitely a talent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, that was just like one of my dream designers to work with one day myself. So when I saw that, I fangirled for a second. And
He is amazing, very talented. I have not seen a dress he's made that I haven't fallen in love with, whether it's like a short or a long dress. He just knocks it out of the park.
I need to learn his secrets one day. Maybe that can be my art that I can pick up
Yeah,
because painting stills not my forte.
you'll get there.
One day. Now, I want you to finish this sentence for me. I want to be remembered for.
Um, I want to be remembered for being kind and being compassionate when someone needs me to be.
Wonderful. Okay, so before we wrap up for today, I do want to play a little game of this or that. How does that sound to you?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? Wonderful. Let's get started then.
All right,
This or that. Activewear or swimwear?
swimwear.
Swimwear.
Yes.
On-stage question or interview?
Interview.
Interview. Is there
Yes.
an question for Miss Earth USA
Yes, for top 5.
for top 5? All right, cool. Curly hair or straight hair?
My God, this is actually a hot debate for me. I used to always do the big pageant curls and have all the hairspray in my hair. And last year, someone was just like, "You need to wear your hair pin straight, girl." And ever since then, this has been my pageant look.
Hey, and you know
So,
what? You perfectly as well. So whoever said that to you, all
well,
right.
I think that this is more slimming on my face. Although I do like the curly hair. I did it because I have so much hair that I was like, "Oh, it can get super big. Like this is awesome." But I'm team straight hair right now.
I like the great best thing too. If you do have a lot of hair and it's worn straight, it still looks just like nice and voluminous and full and everything. So, like I said, you're rocking the straight hair look.
Thank you.
All right. Are we team sash or crown?
We are team crown.
Team crown. Practice or wing it?
Practice.
Practice.
Yes, absolutely.
I tried winging it a couple of times. Did not work out in my favor. Under or overdressed?
Overdressed.
Overdressed,
Oh,
always. Early bird or night owl?
I can do a little bit of both depending on what I'm waking up for, but more commonly a night owl. I feel like
Like,
I'm always up later at night.
I'm more of a night owl myself. And then when I have to be an early bird, not that great. Dress or jumpsuit?
Dress.
Phone call or text?
That's tough. It depends. I'll say text for now.
More of a texter. There's been several occasions where I see my phone ringing and I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah, it has to be important
Yeah, I'm not a phone call girl whatsoever. Dress with or without a slit?
with a slit.
Absolutely. Gotta show off the legs, right? Now, I want to thank you so much for coming here today and really giving us some insight on who you are, what do you do, and before I let you go, however, could you tell us how we can keep up with your journey?
You can keep up with my journey by following me at Mikala Joy on Instagram, or my Facebook is at Mikala B Jolly. And you can reach out to me if you have any more questions. And I will be at Miss Earth USA in December, so you can get all of the behind the scenes footage on my Instagram then too.
I cannot wait to get some more behind the scenes for a major organization like Miss Earth USA. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's gonna be like my little Christmas gift, in other words.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We can't wait till next time. I'll be here again on Wednesday, actually. So I'll look forward to seeing you all then. Bye.
Bye.